Hello, welcome back to the Tea House. I am Kaylee, and today we are going to be doing some more cooking. On the agenda is roasting the pumpkin seeds that I harvested out of the pumpkins from yesterday. I did get the puree, or the pumpkin cooled enough, so we'll be making that into puree and freezing it. Last night it was just too warm to put into the freezer, so it is in the refrigerator, and I will get that pureed. I'm going to be making some homemade croutons with this loaf of bread that is incredibly stale. And I'm going to be starting dinner, which is a beef pot roast, and I'm going to be doing a mushroom gravy. So hopefully I'll be able to get all of that done. My tiny human is taking a nap, so we'll see how far we get before she wakes up. Wish me luck. Alright, so first things first, I just have this dehydrator tray with all of the pumpkin seeds. Just going to rip that off. This is just like a piece of, I don't know, silicone placemat maybe, and just kind of rip, or move these around, get them all divided. And then because I do save my seeds from gardening, I'm going to take maybe a handful. Remember, one seed is like a whole plant. So I'm just going to take a handful like this, and I'm actually going to put it in the same container that I have my pepper seeds from yesterday. And these have just been drying in the window. These are going to do the same thing. Sit, dry in the window. They'll be fine for a while. Now to this, so I have started preheating my oven. The oven's going to go off at 300. I'm just going to try to get all of these chunks off. I don't really, excuse me, I don't really want that stuff. All right, and to this, I'm going to add, I don't know, some salt. And I guess I probably should have done the butter first anyway, it doesn't matter. And some melted butter. I'm thinking probably, I don't know, 2 tablespoons. I just took this out of the oven, or out of the refrigerator. So I'm going to get this in the microwave, melted, and then pour it on there. Alright, so I have my butter melted here, and I'm just going to pour this over the pumpkin seeds. Yes, I use my hands. And toss these, and then spread them into as even a single layer as possible. Alright, just wash my hands. I'm going to stick this in the oven and watch it. I'll check it probably every 25 minutes. Now, onto the bread that I'm going to hopefully turn into croutons if it's not too stale. So I have a bread knife here. I am going to get a little mat so this doesn't glide. It's not horrible. It's not great. Cutting these into slices, and then I will cut the slices into cubes. this bread is going to just sit over here and just kind of continue to get stale. I'm going to ask my husband to see if he wants maybe a bread pudding. We'd have to get a couple extra ingredients that I don't currently have at the house for that. But if he does, I want to make sure that I don't season that with like salt and pepper, because that's not going to be yummy in a dessert. So next, we're going to work on the roast. So I have a container of white button mushrooms that I'm going to chop up, 3 carrots, and an onion that I'm just going to dice and get into my Instapot and get ready. And that's going to kind of be the base. And then I'm going to put the roast on and seasonings, and I'm going to kind of wing it from there. So wish me luck. Alright, so the mushrooms have been washed and destemmed. I just put the stems in here. This is going to be my little trash bucket for today. And I'm going to cut these probably into quarters, sixths maybe, depending on if they're big ones, halves if they're small ones. It is nearly impossible to overcook a mushroom. They had great flavor, good texture if you like the texture of mushrooms, but nearly impossible to overcook a mushroom, which is why I like to put them in with roasts. I had great plans to put this roast in the crock pot this morning, which is my Instapot put on the crock pot setting, but that didn't happen. We got out the door late for a park play date and it didn't happen. So instead we're going to do Instapot roast, which if you are following along, you want to get prepped for your, make ahead meals or whatever. And it's going to be taking about an hour and a half at high pressure. And according to a few recipes I read, the onions and the carrots will practically disintegrate, which is exactly what I want, but the mushrooms will still be intact and the meat will be fall apart tender. All right, on to the onion. I love onions, love them. So I just chop off the butt of the onion and then chop it in half through the root. I like keeping the root on because it makes slicing and dicing easier. And then you're just going to peel that last layer from the outside, put that in your little trash bucket, wipe your hands off. I never go through the onion. I never go this way. I was taught to do that, but they break into tiny little pieces anyway, so why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. If you want them uniform, maybe, but I just don't care. If you don't have an onion fresh, use onion powder when you're seasoning. Yes, I picked that up off the floor. My floors are clean. All right. So that goes into the Instapot. We're going to slice the ends off the carrots. And I think, because these are a little old, I am going to grate them, or peel them. Oh, I hear a tiny human upstairs, which it's about time for her to be up, so that makes sense to me. But it means that I better get going. And then we're going to carefully slice that guy in half. And pour these in here. All right. So, last but not least, I have a 3-pound chuck pot roast here. We get all of our meat in bulk from local ranchers. So, sometimes the packaging is a little interesting, not what you would normally see at a grocery store. So there's quite a bit of fat on this side. So I'm just going to trim it down slightly. I do still want some of this fat, but I don't want, I mean, this is like almost half an inch here. So I'm going to trim this down slightly and probably cut it into, I don't know, 2 or 3 big pieces, and then toss it in the Instapot. Oh, I almost forgot to update you guys. So yesterday, I made a curry, chicken curry with vegetables. It was super delicious, but it was super spicy. My husband really likes spicy food. I am not crazy about spicy food, nor is the 2-year-old. Understandable for her, but and so he is eating the leftovers. He gets all the leftovers. But it was super flavorful. So what would I change? I would use half of the amount of that curry paste that I used. And that's the only change that I would make. So if and when we make it again, I will definitely let you know how the change goes over. Yeah, I think I just put too much curry paste in. But it was very, very flavorful, very delicious. The dog has joined my side. Mom, you seem to be doing something with meat. I would like to help you. Yeah, no, dude. You don't get giant chunks of fat. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to keep that one a little more fatty. I just want to make sure, see how far this fat goes in there. Ooh, pretty far. Okay, maybe not. I know. Fat means flavor. But it also means greasy gravy. Okay. I'm going to move these pumpkin seeds around. They smell so good. And that butter, oh my gosh, so yummy. We use these in granola. We use them mostly in granola. Sometimes we'll eat them just plain, most of the time not. So to this Instapot, I'm going to be adding maybe a teaspoon or so of Better Than Bouillon beef base. I find that this adds a nice depth of flavor, and I never have to have beef broth or chicken broth on hand. I'm also going to be adding about a cup or so of water, a big handful, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. I think it's about 2 tablespoons of parsley. This is parsley from the garden that I dehydrated. 1 bay leaf that I hope I remember to take out. Please remind me. Some oregano, maybe half a teaspoon. This is thyme from the garden, probably a tablespoon there. Some garlic powder, because I don't have fresh garlic. Probably, I don't know, a teaspoon or so. And then this is wine salt. So I make wine salt. It is red wine salt. I will be showing a video on that, but I essentially cook down a bottle of wine so that it turns into syrup, and then I mix it with coarse salt. It's a great finishing salt, but it also makes like beef recipes taste really, really good. So this is all ready. I'm going to add my water, and I'm going to pressure cook this on high for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, and then do a natural release. I will be serving this with, so excited about these. These are honey nut squash, organic honey nut, so not butternut. Butternut looks like this. Butternut, honey nut, aren't they cute? These are organic honey nut squash that I got at our local Sprouts. I was super excited. I almost grew these this year in the garden, and I'm glad that I didn't. So I'm gonna just dice this up and roast it in the oven, and then serve this alongside the roast and some mashed potatoes. That is about it for today. I think I got all of my to-dos done. I will be asking my husband what he wants done with those croutons. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna clean up and then go get the little lady from her nap upstairs. And we have had a successful nap and done all of this in about 30 minutes. in 30 minutes, I have completed dinner for the evening. So I made mashed potatoes. I made about 2.5 pounds. It was half of a 5-pound bag. We will definitely need more for the amount of roast that I have that is depressurizing in the Instapot. But that's okay for now. It's going to be fine. And the honey nut squash has maybe 5 minutes left in the oven. So once that is done, we will get everything plated and we will eat dinner. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we are going to be making something.